Excellent.
Okay, folks, this is a biggie for me because I'm a big fan. Buck Angel, I'm a big fan, and I'm so happy Buck's agreed to talk to me because in this crazy world, Buck's the voice of reason. Buck is the voice of reason. You just so Buck, you're so grounded, aren't you? You're just down to earth, but you don't take shit. And yeah, amazing. I love Buck Angel. So for people in Britain who don't know who you are, going back, and you were early, a transgender very early on. What was it, did you say 30 years ago?
Yeah, 30 years ago. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was it like then? I mean, that was quite unusual, wasn't it?
Oh gosh, it was very, especially, we've always seen men becoming women, right? That's kind of been in the zeitgeist or around for a many long time.
Yeah.
But you very rarely ever saw a woman, as myself, I'm a biological female, a woman who wants to become a man. You very rarely had ever seen that before. So I never saw it, but I transitioned 30 years ago when there was no internet. There was no, you know what I mean? There were no other guys like me. We were hiding somewhere. So yeah, it was a time when I got a lot of shit for transitioning from the LGBT community.
So you didn't have any role models, I suppose?
Nope, none. I mean, I think my role model at the time was G.I. Joe, which is a doll.
That's brilliant. But you must have been pretty determined to because you didn't have, you, as you say, without the internet, you are just isolated. So you must have been pretty determined.
Oh, yeah. I pretty much was lost. I was taking a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol early on in my life, and I finally had gotten sober from it. And clarity came to my head, and I can't tell you other than the fact that I finally felt comfortable enough to say I feel like a man to my therapist, because my therapist would never understand. They would say you're just a lesbian, which is fine. I lived as a lesbian, but I'm not just a lesbian. I actually feel like a man. And so I took a chance, I think, just to say it without feeling like I was saying a wrong thing. And the therapist acknowledged it finally. And that's really the thing that sort of blessed me to take the next step.
Wow. I was saying to Buck earlier, I when I look at Buck, I see a geezer. Like, I just don't. With some people, you can sort of go, yeah, but I can still see your old self. With you,
yeah,
I can really see you are such a bloke, and that's. You're still getting loads of stick off of people. This is the thing that, people really, you're getting attacked by all sides in a way. And what I like is you don't take the bait. You'll answer. You don't move. You've got your beliefs. You're staunch, but you don't take shit. But the thing I've noticed, you're about protecting children, and I obviously, what is more important in this day and age, in the world we're living in, than protecting children, and you don't move on that. That you're strong. You won't have a hissy fit. People go and get rude. You don't get nasty. You stay very grounded, but you don't move on that. It's about protecting children, and I like that, because children, I mean, they're so confused these days, and they're living in a crazy world. And
where are the adults? We're the adults. I also am a father, and I have a kid. So not only that, I'm around kids a lot, and I love kids. I think kids are, obviously they're the future. And if we don't help guide these kids into helping them have a healthy childhood, so they can grow up to have a healthy adulthood, we are also at fault for what the future will bring us. These are the future of our, not only adults, these are going to be the next generation, and we're giving them sex changes. What world do we? I had what we used to call a sex change. So it's not that I'm against it. What I'm against is telling a child they are something when they don't even know a clue of what they are, and we're putting that in their head. It's disgusting. Seriously.
It's interesting what you're saying, because when I was 12, I went to the doctor. I had a big nose. It's called, in my family, it's called the Russell nose. So I had a big nose and quite a small face. I went to my doctor and I wanted plastic surgery. Of course, all them years ago, that was very unusual. I think it was about the time Ringo Starr got his nose done. It was quite unusual, but I had this determination, and I went to the doctor, and he sent me to a specialist plastic surgeon. And the plastic surgeon said, nobody will do that until you're 18. Nobody. And I burst out crying because I want it. Because when you're that age and you want something and you believe it's right for you, you get upset. You want it now. And they said there's two reasons. One, your body will keep changing. And two, you will change as a person and what you think is right now. And I thought I was just getting my nose done. I did get my nose done as soon as I was 18. I did have surgery on my nose. But at the time, I was really, really upset. But as you say, the adults, we have to be the adults. Children go through phases. Right. And supposing it is wrong, supposing they change their mind, supposing it isn't what they want. And I know in England, there have been cases of kids being rushed through the system. Right. And that is rushed through the system and then regretting it later. And
that's right. That's right.
Not even having counseling or having somebody to
talk to. None of it. That's what I'm saying. Look, when I transitioned 30 years ago, I had to go through 2 years of therapy. 2 years. You could not even touch it. There was an actual structure involved. Even for somebody of my age, at 30, who could make that choice on my own at a 30-year-old, they still made me go through a very hardcore system. Yeah. I had to go 2 years. Then I had to get a note from my doctor to take to my endocrinologist, who'd never done it before. I was his first. He said, I've never done this before. You're my guinea pig. So here I am in a situation, but everything that I had to do was still put in a step-to-step process, all while the system held my hand and brought me through to make sure that I was not going to do what you just said. Whoops, I made a mistake. I can never go back to looking like a woman. It just wouldn't happen. And that's the damage we are doing to these young people. We're telling them, by the way, they can change their sex. I did not change my sex. I'm still a biological female. I will never change my sex. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. Unbelievable.
Do you think there needs to be more support for kids when they come to if children come to this phase?
Yes.
Do you think they should still be going through 2 years of
Yes, if not more. And also, I'll tell you what, I still don't think a child, maybe there is a 16, there is no way a 10-year-old, no way an 11, 12, 13. I would say once you start getting to 16, 17, you have to go through serious therapy until you get to a certain space. Right. And I'm not saying these kids don't have dysphoria. They might have dysphoria, but there's no such thing as a trans kid. Do not call them trans kids. I beg of everyone out there, do not call them trans kids because you're already labeling them. They might have some dysphoria, but we know through research that you can grow out of it. You can actually grow out of dysphoria. That's what we should want. We should want the kids to grow out of the dysphoria. We don't want them to be like me. If we can help them to move out of what I have, this is not fun. I don't like being trans. It's not joy. It's not happiness. It's a disorder. I have a disorder. And instead of helping these kids get out of the disorder, we're actually putting them in the disorder. It's sick. Wow.
So if you hadn't gone through that and you'd have stayed as a female, do you think you think your life been easier?
No, and I know that's the point I'm trying to make here is I did live as a female for 30 years, right? So I'm 61 now. At 30 years of my life, I lived as a woman. 30
you weren't
years
a kid when you did this. You weren't.
That's right, and that's my point. So that being said, I struggled. I will never lie about that. I actually struggled as a woman, as a female, but it's okay. That's what I'm trying to say. It's okay to struggle. Struggle is what made me this guy who won't back down. I will not back down because I struggled. And I'm so solid in my choice. All I want to say is I want somebody to be solid when they make this choice. I don't want them to be wavering and, maybe not. And then I cut my boobs off, right? Or I had a hysterectomy, or I got a beard and mustache that I can never get rid of. That's all I'm trying to say is that I want to secure the ladder. I don't want to pull it up. I want to just make sure that these kids are solid. And then okay, now I can do it. And then because it's going to help me and you too. If we have all these kids transitioning who are going to be a mess in 5 years, me and you are the ones who are going to be responsible for that because they're going to have a horrible life. They're going to have a horrible life.
So why are people getting angry with you for just saying we want to make sure kids make the right decision? maybe they will go down that road, but we just want to make sure they get it right. We want to support them, want kids to grow up strong. Why are people getting the hump with you so much?
Because they think they know better than me. Okay. And so here's the point that I want to make. I'm not the end all be all in the trans community. I'm only coming to this in a space that says I have 30 years of actual real lived experience. Okay. That means something. Number two, I have done my research, because I wouldn't sit here just saying things that I think are my opinion. I'm based my actual opinion on facts, and the facts state that the UK, Sweden, Finland, Norway, all of the European countries have stopped. They have stopped giving puberty blockers to children. They have stopped moving forward in transitioning children, while the USA has ramped it up. So I'm like, hello here. And I looked, the first place they started transitioning kids was in the Netherlands, and they did a 30-year research on it. And then after that, they said, no, this is not the way to do it. They actually have the research. And then why is America going nuts and doing all this? So the only thing I can think of, my friend, is money. There's something attached to this that would make a whole group of people just say, oh yeah, this is totally normal. Because I can't think of any other way if the statistics and the research shows that it's not the way to go.
I mean, for my generation, it's come from nowhere. It seems to have come from nowhere.
That's right.
I actually mentioned trans in a book that I wrote, trying to think, probably about 12 years ago. We hadn't heard it seems to have come from nowhere. So it's confusing. The world is confusing. I mean, I misgendered somebody a little while ago. She was great. She laughed it off. I thought she was a bloke. She laughed it off. She went, yeah,
right on.
What a great attitude, you know. They did a survey, or somebody on LinkedIn did a survey and said to bosses, would you employ somebody that used pronouns? And 78% said no. And it's not because they care whether they wear you just think, I'm going to get it wrong, then somebody's going to sue me, or I'm going to have somebody that gets the ump every 5 minutes. And it's just that walking. That's why I think you're a breath of fresh air. I really do, because
thank you.
Don't get precious about anything. You're very grounded. You listen to people. And I just think we need a bit. It's the anger, I think.
Well, where's the so yeah, you're 100% right. Where is this anger coming from? So I want to make this point here that I'm not sure if everybody else is noticing this, and I'm going to show you something, and it's going to sort of put something in perspective for you. If you look at the trans fight, you have to first off look who are the people who are pushing the narrative first? Trans women. Then you have to look at who are trans women. Trans women are biological males. We can never forget that, and that's a fact. And I don't care what anybody says to me out there. I don't care. You call me a transphobe. That's a fact. They are biological males. That's what a trans woman is. A trans woman is a man who wants to become a woman. A trans man is a woman who wants. It's real simple. There's no craziness involved. So now you got to look at who's leading the charge. Why is all the conversation about trans women? Trans women are women. Trans women in sports. Trans women get pregnant. It's all trans women. They're biological males. And then the violence, the anger, the violence, women punching women, and biological males. Then you just understand the whole movement is a misogynist, woman-hating filled movement. That has nothing to do with trans people. It's something else is going on. It's a misogyny of epic proportions, and they're hiding it under the guise of trans rights.
Well, I'm going to have to think about this, because you just think if somebody wants to live as a woman, you think they become softer.
Thank you.
Kinder. That's what I don't understand, all the anger and aggression. I don't understand it. But as you say, that meant them to be more aggressive. But I just thought, if you want to live as a woman, it's like if I went into a changing room, somebody had their little kid there. I'd think, well, it's not my kid. I better not get undressed in front of them. And I'm a female around say, a little girl. I would not force that on somebody. I wouldn't go, I've got every right. I wouldn't do that. And it is, females tend to be more accommodating and softer. And so I don't understand that.
Well, look at me. I don't think that I'm a a super aggressive man. I mean, I can be if I need to be, but I think the majority of my thought process, and this is why I tell you, I'm a biological female. I have a different way of being. You can see it as a man. I was socialized as a woman, right? So totally those trans, and this is why the trans, so I can already see what the trans women are doing. When you say you're a biological, that's why they get mad. They get mad. They're like, biology is a social construct. Biology, no. Biology is scientific, factual situation. You cannot skirt that issue. But then they try to tell you that they're not biological males. They're women. I go, you're not a woman, or then you're not a trans woman. Because to be a trans woman, you have to put biology. It's like 2 + 2 is 8. What are you talking about?
Where's this heading? But because all this has come upon us I look into the future a lot. And when I go 50, 100 years in the future, I'm not seeing this confusion. I'm not seeing this in the future. I'm just not. People are just people. I think one thing people have forgotten is we're in the age of Aquarius, and that Aquarius is quite androgynous. And I think we're trying to just be, maybe men being less, being softer, women being a bit firmer. Maybe we're trying to get some middle ground there along the way. But I don't see all the anger. I don't see this in the future. I just don't. People are just people, and they seem to be really, really fine. They just seem to be fine. How do you expect things to, because this has all happened very quickly. How do you see it going from now?
Well, I'm really happy, first off, that you see the future as less of this insanity. But I also, even though I'm not, I can't see the future like you, I feel it in my body that this is temporary. But the problem is that if me and you do not have this conversation, it can take hold in a way that might take us a lot longer to get rid of it. So that being said, what I see is, I see, this is a really hard thing for me to say, but I am going to say it. I see something else using the trans movement in order to gain access to us as humans and manipulate our thought process. I know I sound crazy. I sound crazy, but I'm telling you, because this is not trans. I have been part of this community for 30 years. I've never seen anything like this.
So what is it? What do you think? I mean, my people that follow me will get what you're saying. They're very open. What do you think that is that's behind this?
I think it's a movement to control us, number one. Number two, I think there's a movement to sort of is the word eugenics, or some kind of sterilization for the population, because when you give these children, it's scary. It's very utopian, and you know what I mean? It's very less like, but if that's why I'm telling you how adamant it is for us to have this conversation, because they are sterilizing young people. When you give that medication that they're calling puberty blockers, and they're making fancy names, right? They're making fancy names for this. They're going to the kids now. They're not even going to the adults. They're being blatantly going to the kids. And that means they're
right there.
Totally. They're sterilizing them. So what happens when you sterilize? First off, you sterilize them. Secondly, they lose all their sexual functioning. So they don't have sex. They don't even want to have sex. So they're creating a generation of young people who will not be able to have kids, who will not be able to procreate. That says something to me. Are they doing this for population control? Are they doing this because they want to experiment on manipulating the human body? And right? Because that's a great thing. These experiments were done. These experiments on children were done during the Nazi time. We know that they were doing weird stuff like this. And now it totally looks like the same thing to me, because I'm telling you, as an older transsexual, we never touched kids. Never. Why are we touching kids?
You've touched on that. I've made a couple of videos about, and I've really had the feeling that our identities are being broken down. For control. Or you break down somebody's identity, that they become compliant. And I think, funny enough, I said about gender, sexuality, but I think it's class, I think it's religion. It's like, if you take people and they support a certain football team and they're working class, they live there, and you start to bring in lots of people from other backgrounds, that identity starts to fade away. but people are strong when they know who they are and they have their identity, which is what I really like, how you know who you are. I wonder, I've been feeling this to do with, I didn't specifically think about it to do with this issue, but I've been feeling as if our identities are being eroded. I felt that for a while, and it felt like deliberate, because then you're controllable. That's it.
That's right.
And I'll pull some cards out for you.
Oh, that would be amazing. Right on.
What sign are you?
Actually, I'm a Gemini. I'm a Gemini.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. You can see, I used to be a woman. Now I'm a man. A man and woman.
Pure joy. What is your date of birth?
June 5th, 1962.
All right, let's have a look.
Awesome.
Okay, yes, you're a number 11, and I love that, because number 11 is very much about, they guide people to the future. I call them the straddlers. They kind of straddle one world to another. But 11s, a lot of journalists are 11s. They're people that keep people informed. They kind of they're very good at keeping people informed. They're very good at giving people the knowledge they need. 11s, it's a high frequency number. So you're 2911. Two's all about people. So this is really good. So we'll pull out some of our show cards. First card comes out is transformation, and it's the powerful woman.
No way.
So funny. I tell you what is funny. This is based on a Hindu goddess. I always think this is quite a funny story. And she was married to a really horrible god who was a bully. And she went to the higher gods and said, look, I'm married to this god. He's horrible, and I'm stuck with him forever. So they will give her a weapon to kill him with. So there's a sword, snake, poison, and she killed him, and then she rose from the ashes. It's quite fun.
Wow, that's crazy.
The next card, look at this. This is you shedding the skin and the real you emerging. I can't believe the cards are coming out for you.
I'm tripping out. What?
These are amazing. Oh, look, you've been through the tough time. You're now coming into the sunshine. I love that. You're coming into the good time.
Oh, wow.
And all right, this is, you're so busy, your intuition can't always get through. So your information will come through your dreams. So really listen to your dreams.
Okay.
And that's the that's the balance between yin and yang, the masculine and the feminine.
Wow.
I can't believe the cards that come out for you, but
my God, it's crazy.
Yeah, this is amazing. I love those cards.
Wow.
They really are your journey. I love this. This is so fascinating. So so you think in the future, I think in the future, things are going to even out. People seem to, it's not just to do with gender. People are angry about COVID, wearing a mask, love Trump, hate Trump.
That's right.
People are angry about everything. And that's why I follow what you do, because I really like that you're the voice of reason. People can agree with you or disagree, but you're the voice of reason. And I think we need people that don't get upset, angry, het up all day long. They're just reasonable, because, you know, I don't know. I just think we need more people.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm hoping. And the fact that you see me means a lot to me, because that's why I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to sort of, you know, balance between those two worlds and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm here in the middle, and I'm going to tell you, you're wrong and you're wrong. This is where we need to be. We need to be in a middle ground. You don't have to like me, and you don't even ever have to agree with my transition or any of that. That is not why I'm here. And that's not, I did not transition for you to validate me. I transitioned for my own needs. And it's why I'm happy and why I'm balanced. But the kids today are not transitioning for their own needs. They are transitioning because it's the cool thing to do. It is, you can see it. That's the problem. These kids are being literally guided down the wrong path. And I'm like, hold on. I'm like literally going, wait, take the left turn. Don't take the right turn. But these very, very, very bad people. There are bad players in this game. You and I both know. I know you can feel it. There are evil, bad people in this game who are totally taking this situation and leading people down the wrong path for their own gain. This is not a community thing. This has something to do with a higher evil, something guiding people in the wrong direction. I really, so that being said, I as a person who this transition helped me become a better human. And that's all I want for anybody else who needs this, is to give it to them as a gift. This is a gift. I don't look at this as anything other than a blessing and a gift from the universe. And I think it's what people are missing today, is they think they're entitled to this. You're not entitled to anything. You should be grateful to be given this beautiful space.
I've got one more question for you. Do you think there's a whole bunch of people out there that have been down the path you've been down?
Yeah.
And they don't speak up because they've been too quiet. Because I feel that we need more people like you, but that are just reasonable, help kids with whatever they're going through. Maybe they'll go down that road, maybe they won't. Whatever it is, it's they're scared. It's like for me, I was thinking, should I even interview you? Should I even speak to you? Because you're going to get some people go la la, just because people are having a normal conversation, and you know, and it's being brave enough to step up, and you've led the way with that, and I hope a lot of other people will follow you. So,
well, they won't. I'm telling you, they're scared. Just for the same reason what you just said to me and your friends. They're scared their friends are going to disconnect. I lost a ton of friends. I've lost a ton of my friends. But then I look at it at a higher level. They're not really my friends, because your friends should be able to disagree with you, and your friends should be able to have a different opinion.
People lose their jobs, though.
They lose everything. They lose everything. That's why I believe the universe gave me this space. I'm not kidding, because what am I going to lose? I have everything on my own. I built my own space, and I continue to build my own space. So, you know, having me on again is very important to me. And I do really appreciate that you're willing to sort of give people a different opinion. And maybe if they see me, they're going to have a different opinion about this whole disgusting trans space. It's gross.
Thing is, we've got to listen. I mean, it's no good just screaming at people.
That's
just
right.
Stop and listen to people. You might not agree, but you might agree.
Right.
It might be. I kind of try not to be too rigid in any views, because I might be wrong. You know, people get so in their echo chamber and they don't hear anything else. And I think that we've got to have some reasonable conversation. Oh, Buck, you are a legend. I'm so grateful that you spoke to me. Stay there. I'm just gonna. But you are a legend. Thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you, friend.
It's been an absolute joy.
You're awesome.